Yeah, this is easy. That's okay.
I don't think exactly. Girls, you live near here. My brother in Christ. No, I know. Well, yeah.
No, I do that because my Mac is that way.
That's deeply offensive.
You don't like it? I have.
I got you. Is that like, what are you?
Ted Lasso.
She doesn't even know.
Yeah, that is one of my hobbies. I love it. Nothing is better than a pair of runners.
I have cancer in it, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah.
And then today, like I've seen another whole belt.
Yeah, no, I stopped up on pumpkin.
Don't mess up my stream. Yeah, he's trying to infiltrate PR over here.
Well, I have a feud against you. Answering that question, I'm going to destroy you physically.
I don't know. Most of the time, I know
I will become
I've
angry
realized it's
from
possible. About 20 seconds.
and people keep this up. How to honestly be sweet.
Usually it's just 60 feet. I'm assuming not. I don't know.
You should double major in chemistry.
I ain't double major in this dick.
But like, here's the deal: physics and chemistry, like, combine those even.
Kill myself.
Yeah, right.
I already work with the chemistry department.
Take a shirt off.
Yep, just, you know,
What if I did?
find flip and jump off.
How many weapons are
I double major in physics. Yeah, so that's like all majors.
You're already in front of
I'm not a professional student. I'm graduating in 4 years.
Weekly meeting session. An email was sent out with first roll call and approval process.
All right. Archer. Here. Hance.
Here.
Dumont.
Here.
Hernandez. Fink.
Here.
Carter.
Here.
Yerke.
Here.
Keel.
Here.
Lannery.
Here.
Lindworm. Here. Lockwood.
Here.
McCallum.
Here.
Nate.
Here.
Edved.
Here.
Billing.
Here.
Sattler. Roxy Shock. Here. Seidman.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tone.
Here.
Twain.
Here.
Weed. Winter.
Here.
We have more.
Great. An agenda was sent out prior to this meeting. There's nothing really exciting on it other than what we all expected to see from last week. We voted on today. All in favor of approving said agenda, say sit down on Monday, say aye. Opposed, say nay. That's approved. Before guests, Kingdom Sports is presenting. Great. Okay, everybody give their undivided attention.
Hello, thank you guys. So I'm presenting for the organization on campus, Kingdom Sports. Next one, please. So our purpose for this organization is to create a Christ-centered mission, or mission as well, that's later. To be a ministry on campus that's specifically tailored to the very demanding, very busy schedules of athletes. So as a note, FCA, which was active on campus, is no longer active. So the leadership for that is enrolled in Kingdom Sports, and we're basically filling that void. So there's no overlap there. It's just it's filling that spot. So we have leadership from pretty much all the teams, a number of majors, you can see it there. And then our demographics, we have about 12 to 25 consistent members. It varies a lot with athlete schedules. Our biggest challenge is scheduling. We had about 75 for our opening weekend barbecue, so there's a lot of interest. We just have to work on that schedule with the athletic community. We have members from a number of sports teams. Our largest numbers are from men's and women's basketball, track, cross country, and soccer. And there's a few football as well. There's about equal thirds freshmen, sophomore, juniors. There's a few seniors, and there's 2 super seniors, graduate students. So it's very young, but a good mix. And then all majors, just all kinds of majors. And then our events and outreach, we have community nights every other Monday at 7 p.m. And then we have team Bible studies that are led by leaders on their teams that they do themselves. We try to do tailgates for the home sporting events like home football games, home volleyball games, that sort of thing. And then during the welcome weeks, we do some of the events with the other campus ministries, CV and University. We also help stock the food pantry on campus, some of our outreach, and then we want to do a barbecue, Christmas party, that sort of thing, a larger outreach event once we turn this semester. That's it. That's the Genesis story.
Any questions for Kingdom Sports?
Yes. I was just curious, what happened to FCA?
So FCA basically has one staff member for all of South Dakota. Kingdom Sports has a staff member here at Mines that we can work with. So that's the reason for that. It just wasn't. It's very hard for athletes themselves to arrange food and everything. So if we have a staff member, that helps us a lot. So that's why we transferred over.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Any other questions? Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, on old business now. Resolution 23F012 Chess Club.
All right, Cassandra Lewis, resolution number 23F012. I presented this last week.
Any questions?
Let me vote.
Alrape.
Aye.
Archer.
Aye.
Pants.
Aye.
Newmont.
Aye.
Fernandez. Fink.
Aye.
Carter. Gerke.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Leonard.
Aye.
Lindworm. Lockwood.
Aye.
Callum. Knight.
Aye.
Nedved.
Aye.
Hilling.
Aye.
Schock. Seekman. Smith. Tone.
Aye.
Wing. Wee. Winter.
Resolution passes. I can't read it. Resolution 23F013. She's that way.
This is the concrete canoe supplemental I read last week, so I will not be reading it again. Question.
Concerns, comments? No.
Move the vote.
Colorado.
Aye.
Archer.
Aye.
Kent.
Aye.
Dumont.
Aye.
Fink.
Aye.
Carter. Gerke. Keel.
Aye.
Flannery. Winmore. Lockwood.
Aye.
Allen. Knight.
Aye.
Nedved.
Aye.
Pilling.
Aye.
Schock.
Aye.
Seaman. Smith. Tone.
Yes.
Twing. Lee. Winter. Resolution passes.
Resolution number 23F014.
Kessinger Lewis, resolution number 23F 0414. 1st of November 2023, originated by Student Affairs Committee, presented by myself. Whereas students have concerns about being too busy with exams during the week of the career fair, noting students did not have proper time to prepare for interviews due to studying for exams, noting students missed out on professional networking events due to studying for exams, noting students also expressed concerns about not having time to study for exams due to professional networking events, interviews, and the career fair itself. Therefore, be it resolved by the majority vote of the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Association President that Student Association Senate take a stance in favor to remove exams over career fair week. Can I have a friendly amendment for the grammar on the third noting? Have that.
Where at?
Not having
Oh,
time.
yep.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah, this is what we tabled last meeting and we fixed it, so any questions or concerns about this version?
Nobody raised their hand. Okay, great. I will say last week, while I was not present, I did listen to the discussion about this. And it seems like we all at least have an understanding about what the issue was, and wording just seemed to be the issue. So hopefully the wording has been changed in a way that's amenable to everybody. Okay, great.
Is this something you have to motion to vote? Wait, this is its first reading. Okay. That's how it's turned out, if that counts.
Yeah, okay, so we'll table this and vote next week. Now, resolution 20, this is what, new business?
Yep.
New business, resolution 23F015.
Kessinger Lewis, resolution number 23F015, 1st of November 2023, originated by Constitution Committee, presented by myself. Whereas adequate interest has been expressed by students wishing to form an organization, Kingdom Sports, and noting there is currently no organizations that overlap this interest. And whereas the Constitution has been constructed and reviewed for said club, and therefore be resolved by a majority vote of the Student Senate, and the signature of the Student Association President, that the Constitution for Kingdom Sports be approved, allowing for formal recognition.
Any questions, comments, or concerns about the resolution as written, not as read? Okay, great. We'll deal with this next week. And open discussion. Okay, I'll start it off with a comment that I've learned today. Is anybody here in Calculus 1?
I have an email about that too from somebody in the course.
Would you like to start us off?
Sure.
So yeah, I have a friend who's in the course and has expressed some frustrations to me. So she sent me an email detailing what's been going on, so I'll just read that. She is not the only one having these issues. Calculus 1 has started a new curriculum, and we students are the guinea pigs in a failing system. They require 100% on every test, otherwise we don't pass. I have taken Calc in the past and would prefer the old system over the new system. Most students are currently not passing. There are 4 tests that are required to pass the class. Most students have not even passed the first one. I myself have not passed the first one, and I've retaken it 8 times. One minor mistake will cause a student to fail the whole test. That is currently what's happening to me. I brought it to the dean's attention, and I've shown him my test where I got every question right except for one, where I forgot to factor out a negative sign, which caused me to fail the whole test. Most of the math professors don't know what is fully going on, which makes it difficult for the students to understand what is expected of them. Most of us are getting burnt out over taking and retaking the first test, leading up to a lot of them to either withdraw from the class or stop showing up. This is currently the problem where you're not only wasting time, but money, and every other student's time and money as well. I do not know how it can be fixed, but I don't want it to be impossible to pass. I've been putting in countless hours in my professor's office hours, going over old tests just to try and pass the first one. I know I'm not the only one in this situation.
So, to add some context, this is the newest form of curriculum, and it's been rolled out for Calc 1 on campus. Even though there are multiple Calc 1, subsections, they're all using the same syllabus with the same grading scale and the same class, curriculum. Where in the past it was a lot more individualized professors. The current grading scale requires you to pass 4 out of 12 tests or weekly tests. If you don't pass those 4, it doesn't matter, you don't pass. Each test can be retaken as many times as you want, but each of those mini tests are graded on a pass-fail scale. So let's say you got 4 out of 5. If the professor doesn't count that as passing, you just got a 0 on the test and you have to retake that mini test again. It seems like this is an issue that isn't only just the 3 students that have brought it to the administration's attention. It might be bigger than that. So if any of our senators know anybody in these classes other than themselves, it would be good to try to understand how big of an issue it is, like how many students are impacted, how many people expect that they'd be better off if it wasn't like this, etc. Any other discussion? Yes.
So, as somebody who's in this class, and obviously since I'm a freshman, a lot of my friends are in this class, you have as many tries until the end of the semester for the required ones. You also only get 4 tries for the non-required ones. So the one that she spoke of, which is P0, I have a lot of friends who have not yet passed P0, and it's like a 10-question test, but the 100% on these tests is pretty tough. I mean, I personally would have had like a 90% on a lot of these, but it definitely is an issue that you can talk to the majority of the freshmen in Calc 1 hear about.
Hey, good. So, if I can go, I took Calc 3 with Dr. Brayman.
Yeah.
And Dr. Brayman has a similar format where she does LTAs.
Mm-hmm.
There's 32 and you have to pass 23 or whatever the number is to pass the class. But each LTA is only 1 question. So it's not as hard to pass as a 10-question exam,
Yeah.
which could be factoring into why it's hard to pass-fail.
Yeah. Running through the syllabus, we were discussing this in the leadership meeting right before. It's kind of complex for us to understand, and we have decades of experience in college. So I feel very sorry for freshmen who are seeing this syllabus for their Calc 1 class. Hagen.
Okay, so I'd like to bring up 2 things. So yeah, like Maddie mentioned, I actually took that class with her. But I feel like that system in its own right is a little bit unfair because I remember getting like a 90-something on the final, and I still got a grade that didn't reflect that. But in addition to that, I feel like the math department also brings up a bigger problem overall. I guess that sounds strongly worded. There is a bigger problem there where there's also like grading scale issues. So like some of the grading scales in the math department are not 10 points, they're like 8 points, 7 point. And I feel like that's reminiscent of an old system that was here before I was here. That basically you had to have a seed pass, or you had to have a seed pass in most of the math classes here, and the math department didn't want to get rid of that. From what I've heard, the math department didn't want to get rid of that, and so they just basically changed up a bunch of stuff to make the classes super hard, and it affects a lot of students' GPAs in a very negative way. So that's another thing that I think we should also consider is tackling that issue of sort of grading scale standardization, I guess, in a way.
So, I know that this is a year of transition for the math department. There's been a lot of back and forth with other departments and administration on campus about how the math department is set up with the curriculum they're teaching and how that dovetails well into our other STEM degrees. Not many people are here getting math degrees. A lot of us are here getting engineering degrees, etc. So I know that there's been a lot of change there. But, and this is the first year of that change, and I think that the goal is to keep rolling out these changes for everybody until it reaches the entire department, for all like Calc 1, 2, 3, etc. So if we're having trouble now, it might become a bigger issue if we don't voice our concerns. Is anybody raising their hand?
I was first. Sorry. I'm in Professor Raymond's class, and from my understanding, this is the poor imitation of her, what I consider a well-designed system. I would like to see a copy of the syllabus, if that would be possible.
It's on. Yeah. So we have something called the syllabi cert or something. It's Calc Math 1, 2, 3 would be Calc.
Yeah, I think like I've talked to professionals in like my field through internships and stuff, and they're like, yeah, I like never used Calc 1, 2, 3 as like a professional engineer, just in my like field of engineering personally. And like although I do think that like rigorous math is like really good for engineers, this like perfection of like failing a whole class because of a negative sign is just like a little too hard for these classes to be considered like gen eds for every single engineering discipline.
To piggyback off of that, yeah, if they're supposed to be weed out classes, they shouldn't weed out 90%, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like they're a little too intense.
You can't cull 90% of the herd.
Yeah.
Whoever's next, you guys just take the talk.
Do you know the reason why they redid it this way?
Whoa.
If you're in a lot of school, I
Well,
just feel like
I don't really have like a necessary answer. It's more of like a speculation. Is that the reason why they changed it? As I remember last semester, there were a ton of complaints about the difficulty of Calc 1, especially when I was living on Palmerton. A lot of people were talking about how difficult this course was, even in comparison to the next semester when they took Calc 2, which like usually when you're discussing difficulty of math classes, Calc 2 is usually the weed out course and it's usually treated as the most difficult, but for some reason at this school, every student that I've talked to has said that Calc 1 was way worse than Calc 2 was, which doesn't really make any sense to me just based on the content that's provided within Math 125 compared to 123. But I think the change is that because they experienced so much pushback for the difficulty of Calc 1, they were trying to do this new system that was similar to Dr. Raymond's way. But the problem is that there's too much of like, oh, if you miss this one question with a negative sign, then you fail the entire test and you have to retake it again, which doesn't sound like it's necessary and it doesn't really reflect a student's ability to learn a course content. So I don't know if there's potential recommendations that I could see potentially, because I don't did you get did Joe get a lot of the complaints back then for Calc 1 as well? Because that's been one of the most complained about courses I think at the school, besides physics too.
Yeah, I can comment. So this is my third year here. The previous 2 years, I got many more complaints about math, calculus 1, anything in that sequence. This year, yesterday was the first one hearing from 3 students with this specific complaint. So I don't know how widespread it is beyond what they have shared.
Yeah. The person I talked to said that they were trying to organize people together, get a group of people who are struggling, and with your help, Dean Joe, talk to the head of the math department soon and figure out what can be done and what are the steps going forward. And she said that what they're looking for from Senate is just that support to voice their concern and, if the need be, to take a stance saying that this is something that's concerning students. Because, you know, we can't rewrite the curriculum, but we can say that we'd like it to be rewritten, or whatever.
On the top. I think that it's pretty clear that all of us understand that this is a weird grading scale, and maybe the implementation might not be the best for students. Is there any pushback on that statement? Anybody? Nobody has voice? Okay, so if this, snowballs still, I wouldn't be opposed to Student Senate having, a statement essentially summarizing what we all just talked about. Because there are just some weird things with how I learned about this class that I think might be negatively impacting students and diminishing their ability to succeed here. So yeah, any other comments? Not
just
pushing back on it.
I think the statement is a good idea depending on what we find out why they did this.
Yeah.
Like if this is legit a try to let kids pass more and they just failed miserably at it, then I don't know if a statement's needed. Maybe if they do fail that many kids versus normal, figure something out there to, I don't know who would do that, decide that if they're failing all these kids off minor things, we could have some pushback against let's not fail way more kids than normal. But I think learning that reason would be a big deal before we made it.
Well, I think one of the things that we try with students when there's grievances, here's these steps to follow, right? With the professor or the department, which I think that's a good process and advice that Joe's given. Same thing for you. If you just want more information, maybe you invite Dr. Kowalski to a meeting as a department head and ask some questions. And we get information from the department to say, hey, these concerns are brought up. We just want to get more information about it. Kind of discuss and get back. Questions? Could be an opportunity for you as well. Dr. Joe.
Yeah, so fully supportive of whatever you guys want to do, and of course these students who visited with me yesterday, I don't have a good solution for what I'm about to say, but I want to be sure that I voice it. I'm concerned about the timeline with what I heard yesterday in my office. November 3rd, so Friday is the last day to withdraw, right? So I can imagine if half of this class, I'm guessing, is saying, I can't even pass the first exam, I'm going to get an F if I keep trying, right? The way it's currently set up. If they choose to withdraw, that's a very permanent decision. Right? So I don't know what to do about that when it's November 1st, and that deadline is November 3rd. Even if this group could just full-time focus on this one issue for the next 2 days, I don't know that you get in front of other people. But I just want to voice that. I'm concerned about that. If half the students in Cal 1 say I'm going to withdraw, and then we're able to resolve something in the future, I don't know if that can be altered by the registrar.
And then, yeah, that would be something we could look at with the data, like if there is a high percentage of withdrawals for that course, that might be telling.
Okay, I agree with everybody's statements, everybody here has said so far. The date is a huge issue. Students are going to withdraw because even if something's changed as far as how things are going to be graded, not every student's going to know. So some students who might have passed, if they've took it out, aren't going to. What I think is a good next step would be getting in touch with, well, the issue is I don't want to try to set a meeting or anything with Dr. Kowalski if these students haven't already talked to him. Because it should go, it should be that the pathway should be students upwards. We should come in and try to white knight an issue like this. With that being said, I would be happy to meet personally with students who are in this class anytime over the next 3 days, preferably sooner than later, so I can understand it better, and then I will happily try to contact anybody else in the department, try to get more information for you guys if you guys can't get it yourselves. I think the whole withdrawal deadline is a big deal, and I would like to try to move this one forward. And unless there's any other discussion on this, you can probably.
I just texted my person to ask when they're going to meet with Dr. Kowalski.
Okay.
Senator Payne.
So one thing I'll bring up with the withdrawing for the class on November 3rd is that's a good point to bring up because there's also certain real skill tests where you can no longer retake them after a certain date. Like you cannot retake the L1, L3, L4, and for some students you will not be able to retake the P0 after Friday, but there's also only certain days you can retake those tests.
Yeah.
So that also brings up the issue that the way this class is set up is these tests are like, we've already discussed that they're excruciatingly hard to pass, but you also, they account for 60% of the grade total, so there's only 4 required. But if you don't pass at least a few more, you can't pass this class at all.
I think for the sake of completeness, it's 60 out of 100 typicals, but about 60%. Yeah.
Sorry,
If there's,
go ahead.
no.
I was saying my constituent has emailed Kowalski and is waiting for a reply.
Okay, great. Then if you want to let them know that I'd love to meet them and talk to them, that'd be great. And if there's no other dissenting views on this, we can move forward.
Can you clarify something for me, Senator, quickly? The 4 required exams, if you cannot take them past Friday and get them passed, does that mean you automatically fail the course this Friday?
So for the 4 required exams are P0, L2, P2, and I2. I2, the first I2 tests were given 2 days, so those ones you can still take. The 4 required ones, besides P0, you can retake until the end of the semester. It's all the other ones which are still required to pass the course, you can't retake. You can only retake them 4 times on the certain assigned dates. Which for those 4 that I mentioned, for P0, you can only retake it up until November 3rd unless you specially talk to the department. And then for P0, L1, for another 4 of them, you can't retake them at all anymore until the last day of class.
I was about to say, on the final,
Yeah.
your final, in theory, you guys know the final, that you can't retake those tests on the final day. Okay, this is great. This is complex, and we'll hope to move forward. If not, is it a dissenting viewpoint?
Yes.
Okay.
Objectively, we stand without seeing the actual test.
I agree with you. We shouldn't, we don't have any opinions until we learn more. Great job on it. Okay, we're moving on from this. We're not discussing this anymore. Any other? Okay, great. CFO report?
Thank you guys for passing that supplemental. I'm sure all of our people on Concrete Canoe in here will be happy about that. Next week we'll be looking at more monetary stuff for SHED, which I think VP Lewis is going to talk about. We'll also be looking at some stuff for rebranding, which I'm sure President Kessinger will be talking about. The big thing I wanted to chat with you guys about is that Finance last week drafted a GAF, talking point sheet. Tomorrow at the finance meeting at 6 o'clock, we'll be completing that draft that we have so that you guys will have it hopefully finalized next week. And then I'll hopefully send it out to the orgs too, so that we can talk about it. Additionally, I think we'll be looking at scheduling another SOAP workshop. There's been a lot of organizations that missed it, and so if you have new orgs that you're in contact with or people that did not attend, that is in the works. End report.
Any questions, comments, or concerns? Okay, moving on to DB report.
Hi everyone, I've got 2 quick things today for my report. The first one is I've gone ahead and I'm reaching out to Rankin to schedule a time for him to be an open floor guest for us, hopefully at some point this semester during one of our 2 remaining ballroom meetings. So I'll hopefully hear back from his office at some point soon so we can have him in at some point this semester. And if one of those times don't work, we'll try and look at an alumni center one, and if that doesn't work, we'll go to next semester. But I'd like to have him in at some point this semester and maybe next semester as well, just to talk about some things that Sam and I don't get to see either, because he has, for example, monthly meetings with all the DOR presidents, the other 5 presidents in the state. So it'd be nice to hear some updates from them that we only get to hear once a month as well, because he can elaborate on it as well. So, the other thing I had that I want to bring up and see a show of hands for is we're putting together our roster and a budget for attending SHED right now in January. So I know a lot of people don't have their schedules planned out that far, but can I just see a preliminary show of hands from everyone? So I can write down who is planning on attending SHED. And I'll just go around and break those. Just hold up your hands for a little bit. You guys have a better way of explaining it to me, because it will be my first time there as well.
Is it me?
Sure, if you want to explain it quickly. But leave your hands up, please, so I can.
We go to the state capitol with all of the other student senates of the Board of Regents schools in the state, and we try to meet and lobby lawmakers about bills that specifically impact students and universities in the state. It's a fun time. You get to meet the other student senates. You get to visit Pier in the winter, which I guess that doesn't sound fun. You'd hang out in the State House.
It's Saturday morning till Sunday night, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
It's Sunday to Monday.
No, it's Sunday morning because mine's is Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
It is, you leave on Sunday,
Yeah.
Sunday night, and lobby Monday morning.
Yeah. Okay, so it would be one night there, and then you would come back.
What are those dates?
They're the last 2 days in January.
I think so.
Maybe have a calendar.
29th sound right?
Sound
Mine's
about
there,
right.
I'm pretty sure. Let me look here.
28th,
28th.
Mine's day is the 30th.
Okay, yeah, so
29th.
exactly.
Awesome. I think I have it written down. Thank you guys. No. Alright, anyways, that's the end of my report. Thank you all. If no one has any questions for me.
Anybody have any questions for Ben?
Yeah.
Are we expected to get ourselves there?
Say again?
Like we drive ourselves there, or?
We, no, there's a carpool there. We run vehicles from the school, we carpool there, and we're going to discuss this, but in years past, we provided lodging for everyone at hotels. We're going to work on fundraising for that because our budget is very tight this year. But the goal would be to, yes, have vehicles and lodging for everyone.
Any other questions? Anybody here in India Club? Do you have any better explanation that you want to share with students about this?
Sure. So it's an annual event we put on campus. It's attended by like 500, 600 people every year. There's free food, performances, fireworks. So for the food, we need volunteers to like help cook. So if anyone wants to do that. So the event's on the 18th of November. So like the days preceding that day, from like 3 p.m. onwards, we'll be cooking downstairs in the kitchen. So use all the help we need. Get it.
Thank you. This is a very exciting event. A lot of people attend. If anybody's interested in volunteering for this, I think that this would be a great thing to volunteer for, personally. Food is probably included. I can get the sign-up sheet for volunteer hours, and I'll just email it out to everybody. Just, you don't have to, but it'd be nice to, I think. Okay, not related to this. Rebranding money. Rebranding coming to a close, finally. This has been years in the making. I'm going to send out an email this week telling all clubs that if they've not sent an email in asking for something by Monday, we're done. A lot of clubs have sent stuff in, so probably very few haven't. I hope that they really don't. It's a lot of work. But Monday's going to be the cutoff for all clubs. As far as money goes to pay for rebranding, We have a few large ticket items, I think maybe one large or two large ticket items left, and new money is gonna have to be reallocated for that. We'll be discussing that next week, after we have a better scope on what that is and exactly the prices of some of these things. All the logos that have come out of rebranding so far look fantastic. I'm really impressed, and I'm really happy that everything on Presence is kind of going to look good. It's not going to be random and mixes of old logos, new logos, just random pictures to represent us. I think that the goal of rebranding is a commendable goal, but it's also. Any questions about rebranding?
For anyone that's curious, the major large ticket items we're talking about, there are a lot of money are trailer wraps.
Yeah.
So there's 2 clubs at the moment that are looking at wrapping trailers, and it's probably upwards of $5,000 a trailer.
Yeah. But the trailers do look good. They do look really good. Any questions about that? I assume none. That's the end of my report. International report? Veterans report?
So, I messaged Sam sometime last week about application fees for veterans, and he brought up an excellent point that it'd be really hard to change this board policy. So he mentioned that a workaround would be to do some type of reimbursement for their applications, and I personally like that idea. I just have to bring it up to someone and see what they think too. Also, should fill out raffle tickets by for sale in the library until next Monday. End of the board.
Any questions? I assume that's good questions. Are we in non-trip? Graduate report, sorry.
I got the complaints back, but I won't do it.
Are there any that stuck out to you wildly?
Just grumpy girl.
I know exactly what that's like. Non-Brad?
No report.
Constitution report? No report. PR report?
We have our first ever spike and solve problem this weekend at the volleyball game. Woo! So that'll be a grand old time. Make sure you get people to come and participate in that. And thank you to everybody for making this a possibility. We'll do better, keep advertising it, and hopefully get some more people showing up for the next ones. But we're here. I consider that somewhat of an accomplishment. So, end of report.
Any questions regarding spike and solve? Yes, it's a good name. No, we're not changing it.
Senator Seekman, maybe in the future for the next ones, we can reach out to facilities and ask if we get charged for having the wall open.
Ooh, there you go.
Because so long as we don't get charged for it, I think that would be a really good way to grab the casual crowd coming from Survey Center.
Yep. They said that they will not charge for anything that takes less than 2 hours set up. So, just as a FYI. So we were not charged for this setup today.
No other questions? Okay, GR.
So first thing is we've been working on contacting people in the within the board system specifically to try to get that jury, try to have that jury to get us some headway on that. We'll come back with our results this week to or tomorrow to use this week to sort of communicate or just try to reach out and communicate with those people. In terms of campus lighting, sounds like everyone's really taking care of it, but we will also contact them. And then, as you can see around you, is the costume contest, and I sent everyone an email form on it, so you can vote for your favorite costume. You get 3 votes. Distribute them however you want. So, yeah, just go ahead and take that vote.
Not a question, a comment, or a concern. We're going to go around, everybody say what their costume is.
And if you don't have one, make up something fun.
Yeah.
Starting with you, man.
Right now?
Yeah.
I'm a forgetful mind student.
Please see you in his office.
I'm a happy grad student. I'm a construction worker.
I'm myself. Happy freshman.
I am just needed.
Oh, and I see that.
I'm Debbie.
I'm an SDSU grad student.
I was a chicken yesterday, so, and I completely forgot today.
Saying I was a crayon.
I am a sufferer of COPD poisoning, the most deadly and invisible.
Pickle brick. Please speak.
I am a yacht captain.
I don't even go here.
J-Rock from Trailer Park Boys.
I'm a Texan. I'm a firefighter.
An exhausted mind student.
I'm a witch.
I'm blue.
A clown.
I'm that one meme of The Rock where he has a fanny pack. He's like,
I'm Ted Lasso.
I'm a rock star.
I'm a construction worker.
Thanks everyone for participating. Go ahead and go to your emails. All you do. Take it.
Yep.
All you know.
Yep. I think that's everything I had. That's the report.
Any questions?
Any questions for GR? None. Okay, great. Essay.
So I sent out the D2L poll yesterday, and it seems like the main due dates aren't in, not all due dates are in there, so trying to keep track of what's due. Issues with filling like quizzes, and there's anything that I can't remember what it was. My committee's gonna present on the whole thing next week, so I want everyone to choose the answers. We're doing Spirit Friday this Friday in the Quad and the library, so this is that. It's gonna be portable, and we made 3-inch, corrugated from like 8-inch ones here to do it, otherwise we'll have to. There's still a spot open at noon, so you can stop by, something like that.
Any questions, comments, or concerns for essay? Okay, great. The last was campus and ad hoc committees. If parking appeals.
So we met again this week. We brought up the possibility of a general parking committee, and we discussed the third part of the ramp. They seemed open to a general parking committee to address the map, overnight signs, and someone else. But they don't seem to think that the ramp will change. It is controlled by athletics. They would have to change the lines. They also sell those as tailgating tickets, specifically facing the field. So they don't believe athletics will be open to change the position. They have already asked public safety to send out an email reminding students they will continue to ticket, but public safety has so far not done it.
You guys can all speak up.
Any questions for Bills?
But I was gonna talk about gaps on that, but so I'm gonna send out an email to them just to
You're also athletics. Number 6.
Yeah.
That is nothing. Yes.
Senator Alvarado.
I love the committee So I look forward to that. Looks pretty cool. Have a lot of vendors and things like that. Like they're trying to make it like last year, but better. Board game theme. And then just on the parking bill, they just need to, like, I guess a good way to put it is the biggest complaint and the thing that she makes consistently understood is, I mean, just because one person parks that, it doesn't, like, she's, like, and I understand where she comes from as well on this, is when they're giving out tickets, that one person parking back, she expects that you see the parking of them parking back, and then you park right, and like there, obviously also has to give a whole spot, like, distance in between them. That parking committee will be, I think that just depends on what type of changes they actually can make, but if that parking on the ramp is just going to be a problem. I'm just going to go on yourself. If you can, if I was you, if they're parked back, I'd park as well as I can. You can pick your spot in the one parking spot. Please do so. Don't put them in the low. Walking at extra distance to me is more important. Like, it would be easier on me if I had to do it than to get a ticket because we walk over there. And it's also the parking right after the meeting. That was kind of crazy, but I can't blame them for ticketing as bad as parking is. I don't think I can pull there for a truck though. In that same light, I wouldn't park there even if I don't think I can. So that's just my personal opinion about it.
Senator Leonard. Another thing that a parking committee would be for turning in your parking pass as the part of the process for leaving school.
The more I've thought about that parking pass thing, I can't believe that's, like, I understand that, like, that might be what their current system is. I can't believe it's necessary, though. I can totally see how they can just mint a new pass. They don't want to, but they could.
They're of the opinion that someone's going to pass off their pass to a friend or something, and they want physically the pass back. They don't want to take someone's word that the pass is no longer being used.
Yeah, no, I understand from their point of view, but already they cross-reference passes to ours. They already do that. So I think that at a certain point there needs to be a give between maximizing how many students can actually use parking spots and making it easier for them to make sure everybody's paying.
And a parking committee could take the time to argue.
Yeah, exactly. So with that comment from you guys at Parking and Fields, I will sort through the responses and set up when is good so everybody can meet to get this ball rolling on that. Any other comments or questions for Parking?
I just got a question. I have a friend who he was originally, like as of last year, when they like applied for dorms or whatever, he was put in Rocker, but then in late July, after he already bought a parking pass for Rocker, he got moved to Conway. And he's been fighting ever since to try to get a red pass because he has to walk all the way to Rocker. They won't let him.
We dealt with this appeal. He wanted an orange pass, and they offered him a green pass, and he didn't.
For context, all orange passes are sold out to a limited number, and green passes are not unlimited, but a much larger number.
His argument was as soon as it got changed, he tried to change his parking pass because he bought it the day the parking pass. He bought his original one the day that they were open. So they just kind of because they moved him now he doesn't get a parking pass.
He can have a green pass if he would like green pass.
Yeah, this seems to all work out to the fact that orange pass.
Green pass isn't any better than a yellow pass.
Which is why they let him keep his yellow pass.
We will go ahead and sort through and create a parking committee.
Yeah.
To begin working with this in addition to the appeals committee, because obviously this is a major issue for campus.
Yeah. Okay, so no other parking comments. Great. Moving on to any other add-ons. Okay,
So for upcoming Senate business, if you are dressed in a costume, stick around after we adjourn quickly. We'll stand against one of the walls, and probably that one since it's a solid color, and we'll have someone take a picture of everyone that's costumes. And Senator Archer, do you have the results for us, or has everyone been able to vote?
I don't know if everyone's been able to vote. I think we've got 22 people, or 21 people voting so far.
Speaking of that, I just remembered, please fill out the Senator of the Week form I emailed you. We're just gonna highlight somebody on the socials, so please fill that out if you have it.
Any other upcoming Senate business? And you refresh everyone's minds on what dates we are here in the ballroom.
We are here November 15th and December 6th. December 6th being our last meeting of the semester.
So let's go through announcements quickly. Once announcements are over, we'll have Senator Archer go ahead and tell us who wins the costume contest, or take now to vote if you have not yet. So we'll go through announcements. Senator Winter.
I spend more time on Daisy Susan. I'm there 54 days until Christmas is proven.
Any other announcements?
Yeah, Doctor.
Yes, Doctor.
Vote's been finalized. Student commencement speaker for December will be Morgan Ellis.
Senator Swain.
Not this Friday, but next Friday at the men's basketball game. 80 Pie will be having pie and pies. It's a fundraiser for Ronald McDonald House Charities. You guys can come and pay for pie meeting.
Any other announcements? Senator Archer, would you care to tell us the top three? And so everyone sees this is our amazing trophy for the first place winner, courtesy of, was this Senator Sadler?
I printed that last night.
You printed this? Thank you very much.
We have a tie right now for first place. But I guess in third place, we got Senator Queen. In second place, we got Vice President Lewis. And then we got two people for first place. We got Senator McCallum and President Kessinger.
I have to rock, paper, scissors it?
Yeah, I think we rock, paper, scissors.
All right, into the center.
No, I won last year, and yours is better than mine. You are by far the winner.
Hang on for a second, we still have to properly adjourn.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion. All in favor of adjourning, say aye.